As Prince Harry battles the press, why have the other royals given up the fight? Greetings from Royal Family Lud, my channel. If it is true that William accepted payment from Murdoch and the royal family reached a peace agreement, they appear willing to cheaply give up their reputations. The royal family, or the institution, as Prince Harry refers to it, is allegedly caught in a trap of appeasement with the tabloid press. He and Meghan discussed how the Red Tops attacked them in their Netflix documentary, and the palace did nothing to stop their racial slurs. Harry charged Camilla with leaking information about him in his autobiography Spare and in interviews related to it. Thank you. Please subscribe to my channel. In papers submitted to the High Court as part of his lawsuit against News Group Newspapers, which owns The Sun, Prince Harry stated last month that members of the royal family had a secret agreement regarding the conditions under which it would pursue a lawsuit regarding phone hacking. News Group disputes that and asserts that there is no supporting documentation. However, allegations revealed by Harry this week in court records go much further, claiming that Prince William was given a very large sum of money by Rupert Murdoch in 2020 to settle a phone hacking case out of court. There are parts of this story that don't make logic, most notably the fact that William would need a very large sum of money if he had been paid. In spite of all the restrictions placed on him by his job, including those relating to his privacy and autonomy, isn't money the one thing he never lacks for? The blackmail of the royals by portions of the print media, which differs from standard extortion only in the fact that it is taking place in public and using compliance as the form of payment, appears to be a story that most people have heard before. Up until Harry took on this dynamic, it seemed impossible to overcome. 1993's Tampongate was the turning point in the media wars when the gloves were truly taken off. The affair between Charles and Camilla may have been of public interest in some circumstances, but it wasn't necessary to record their highly private and embarrassing conversation, especially when it was already widely known. It's difficult to imagine what the then Prince Charles could have done legally given that the contents of the recording had already been published in an Australian weekly. This was a planned act of degrading the royal family. The tabloids had a brash attitude. They would display their pompous patriotism, take pleasure in flag waving, and bow before the royals, all the while never missing an opportunity to put them in their place. Because they were a newspaper with no moral agency and whose only logic was to make money for themselves, they were unable to see any moral inconsistency between these utterly antagonistic positions of respect and contempt. A whining royal watcher would occasionally be brought out to square the circle, claiming that they felt bad for the Queen because her dignity had been damaged by her children's misdeeds. If the 1993 scandal revealed the tabloids' immorality and made the royals afraid to confront them, the years of phone hacking that followed shattered family trust. Many news of the world hacking victims would be familiar with this tale. When the victims couldn't figure out where the papers were getting their information, they accused individuals around them. Jude Law is now aware that Sadie Frost didn't reveal information about their divorce. Given that numerous members of the family were being hacked, according to Harry's own evidence, should he perhaps give Camilla the benefit of the doubt? Perhaps. But it's always been a fundamental aspect of the tabloids' influence that, in the absence of a brand new scandal, they can create a compelling story by pitting one member of the family against another. William against Harry, Kate against Meghan, and Diana against Camilla, in bold black and white illustrations where the reader is encouraged to choose their side. To oppose, especially if you had no way of identifying the source of the information and no method to rectify misinformation, would take quite a strong royal crew. Harry is currently pursuing 3 different legal claims against British newspaper groups, which is either a daring or reckless act. He might believe that the media has done the worst possible thing, exposed under infrared top every stain on his character, from the Nazi fancy dress to the spell in rehab, effectively alienated his wife by making frequent references to her fictitious gangster roots, and harassed his mother till she passed away too soon. However, when someone is by definition distant, a figurehead, and moves through the world as an unsettling blend of his own personal traits and the variable connections of his position, there is no hard limit to the reputational harm that person can endure. The popularity of Harry and Meghan has been plummeting in the UK and has plunged off a cliff in the US. Newspapers haven't even required a smoking gun. All they've needed is a lack of positive articles and the occasional hint of greed or attention-seeking. After the long run, I believe it will be worthwhile, since after 2 years we won't be able to recall what we were meant to find objectionable about the relationship. Even if it proves to be untrue, you have to question the value of a reputation when Murdochs and other empires are holding it hostage.